Hi there, this is Daryl from Jackson Kayaks, and welcome back. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to tie up a Lowcountry ghost shrimp. This is a fly developed by a Marine out of down there in Beaufort, South Carolina, John Holbrook, and that's where he currently lives. He's not a Marine. Well, he is still a Marine. You know, they always a Marine, but he's retired and lives down in the Beaufort area. And so this Lowcountry ghost shrimp that he developed, it's kind of got used an unusual hook, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. And it's probably a good winter fly. I've caught some speckled sea trout on it. I haven't caught a redfish on it yet, but that's what it was developed for. But let's take a look at this fly. All right. Well, this here is John Holbrook's Lowcountry ghost shrimp. We're going to be tying up. Hopefully you'll give it a try, and there might be some little clips here in before or after this video on some speckled sea trout that I caught on it. You might find that it's interesting on there. But yeah, little weed guard, things like that. All right. Why don't we go ahead and get started? And this is the hook. I'm going to use a Ahrex NS 172, a curved Gammarus number 2 in there, which is probably the unusual part of this hook. It's let me debarb it because I like to fish with debarbed hooks. And it's really like a wide gap short shank hook is what he recommends here on this fly. On there. And the thread I'm going to use a Chartreuse in 210. You could probably get by with a 140. And we're just going to go ahead and start this. Where's my scissors go? And on this fly, he likes to use the Ballzeyes Chartreuse green, medium, and nickel. It looks more like a true dumbbell eye. It's not a hourglass shape. And not sure how he likes to place his eyes, but I like to place mine so that they're like a eye back of the eyeball or the hourglass, or in this case, that way it gives me some room for a weed guard, and we're going to tie on a weed guard. You probably don't need to if you don't want to, but you know, it's designed to be fished in the grass and that. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little super glue on here, or Zap-A-Gap. And that's my cross wraps. And I like maybe put I don't know what you call it, a yoke on there a little bit. and then helicopter around that. And we're going to take this back to where, just past the bend a little bit. And that would be right about there. And you'll notice that the barb of the hook that used to be there is right about here on there. So you can see that's a really short shank on that, on there. Next material we're going to do is we're going to put the tail, and I'm going to use some Arctic foxtail in olive. And I'm just going to take a pinch of that. You don't want to use a lot, keep it kind of sparse. And then I'm going to pull out the fluff on this. And if you need to, you can use a comb to try to get it out. And I'm just going to measure this roughly about 2 hook shakes to try to keep my proportions. And then I'm just going to trim a little bit of this off. And I want to keep that right on top of the hook. And now I'm going to put some gold Flashabou, 2 or 3 strands on both sides. Don't have to be that exact on the count. And I'm just going to trim that just past the tail. Wet my fingers to get it all out there of the way. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out some soft hackle in Chartreuse or green. In this case I'm using Chartreuse. Try to pick one out here that looks kind of nice. Something's got some long fibers on there. And I'm just going to make a point right here. And those fibers look fairly long. Just kind of position my thing there, thread. And then I'm going to try to fold these back. This is going to give us a little bit of barring. Maybe some little flow that feathers are good for. That'd be 3 or 4 wraps. I think that's good. Kind of lock that in. Grab my scissors here. And clip that out. And that gives a little barring right back behind there. The next part we're going to use is some tan Tarantula, 1 inch. And I got a little piece here that I've been using. And we're only going to want about 3 wraps of this. And I kind of pulled off some fibers off from that wire. And it's got those nice rubber legs in there. And I'm just going to kind of palmer this 3 turns. And use my little wire cutters here to cut that wire. Here's maybe enough for another one. And then I'm going to use a little needle here and try to pull some of these out if they got trapped. I don't think I had many. And next we're going to make for around by the head there, we're going to use some holographic Cactus, Chenille, and Olive. And I like to strip off some fibers here to get a base core open. And we're going to go ahead and palmer that up to the eyes. And that's just to fill in behind there. Adds a little bit more flash. And then I'm going to bring this forward underneath to lock that in. And we'll trim that off. And that was maybe about 3 turns. And we'll build up that there. And I like to use you can use Mason's hard mono, or I usually use some old saltwater mono Tippet material, in this case 20 pound. And then what I'll do is I'll crimp the very end of it, not very much, just like that. Squeeze it down flat, fold this up to create a L, and I'm going to trim some of that off. And kind of hold that right up there, keeping it on top of the and then I'm gonna go behind there a few times, and then I'm gonna wrap around it, kind of like you do for like a parachute dry fly, and that will kind of lock in. Lock that in. Then we'll go ahead and we're going to give it a whip finish. And you can whip finish either in front of it or behind the weed guard. We'll just do it behind the weed guard in this case. Give it another one just for safety reasons. And then use some UV thin, whatever your favorite is. In my case, it's Loon. put my cap back on before I spill it like usually I do. And I'll take my little wire cutters and just trim off this weed guard just a bit above that right there. And there you have it. John Holbrook's Lowcountry or LC Ghost Shrimp. You maybe tie this in other colors like black and purple for the summertime here in the Lowcountry might work. But it's a weird hook, that's for sure. Alright. Alright, hope you enjoyed that tie, and you'll give it a try. It's John Holbrook's Lowcountry or LC Ghost Shrimp. And to me it was fun on those trout, so I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the water. Oh, by the way, we have a new fly shop down here in Charleston called 843 Flies. If you haven't seen them, right there, 843 Flies. Here in West Ashley, so give them a check out and shout out. You know, you can buy some of these materials there. They're still got their inventory coming in, so we'll see you on the water. Bye. There's another one.